I've been asked to talk for you guys probably for about half an hour, and I'm going to give you a bit of an idea about some of the free tools that we provide, online tools through something called Windows Live. Now, a bunch of you might already be using Windows Live tools at home. Some of you might be using them but don't know that you're using them. Some of you might be using tools like Hotmail or Windows Live Messenger. So I'm going to introduce those tools and probably show you a whole lot of other tools that you didn't know Microsoft had. And you know, maybe as we go through, you guys can have a bit of a think about some of the ways you might be able to use these tools inside your organizations, or how some of the people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis might be able to use these tools. So really this is going to bring you up to speed about what the Windows Live tools are all about. And I'm going to be flitting backwards and forwards between a few PowerPoint slides and a few different demos as well. So I've got about 4 or 5 different little demos that I'll be giving you guys as well. I don't mind taking questions as we go through either, but you don't need to wait till the end. So the free tools I'm going to talk about are really all about doing 3 different sorts of things. How do you make it really easy for different sorts of teams to collaborate on an ad hoc basis? You know, often we find that kind of IT gets in the way of problems. You know, it takes the IT department too long to set a website up, or you know, they're too slow to set up a collaboration site, and you know, in the time they take to do that, the kind of idea has moved on. And so there's a bunch of different free tools that we provide on the web that allow you to collaborate in small teams together. You know, this works well up to about sort of 30, 40 people working on the same sort of project at the same time. We provide a bunch of different free tools that allow people to communicate together. This is through obviously email and also things like instant messaging, and I'll talk about those things a little bit later. And we also provide a bunch of tools that allow people to stay connected. And what I mean by that is that we provide free tools that allow you to synchronize files together. So I might be working on some files on my laptop or on my desktop in the office, and I want to be able to use those same tools and technologies when I go out of the office, or to a friend's PC, or to a PC at an internet kiosk overseas, or something like that. So this is what I'm going to talk about through the rest of the presentation: collaboration, communicating, and sharing and staying connected. So I guess, you know, the first thing, why think about using some of these free tools? Well, you know, often, you know, we want some of our constituents or donors or board members or people like that to be able to utilize some of the latest and greatest Microsoft tools. Tools that allow them to work when they're out of the office. So for example, we provide free versions of Excel, PowerPoint, Word and OneNote web applications that allow people to use those applications as long as they can just get to a web browser. So you don't actually need to install those applications, and I'll show you a demo of this shortly. As long as I can get to an internet connection, I can actually run up those 4 different sorts of Office web applications. You know, we're also seeing a lot of people work with different sorts of devices: laptops, desktop PCs, iPhones, iPad, you know, Windows Phone sorts of devices. And so everything I'm going to show you today inside Windows Live actually is all web-based. So this works well with all sorts of different devices, all sorts of different laptops. You know, even the stuff I'm going to talk to you about today is not just Windows centric. The stuff will work on top of Macintosh PCs as well. So this is not just Windows stuff. And again, I think, you know, the key thing here is that everything I'm about to show you is free, and it's all really easy to use, to set up and maintain. So what am I going to show you? So A bunch of these tools work offline, and what I mean by that is you don't need to have an internet connection to use these things. You can be using them when you're sitting on an airplane, flying around, or if you're sitting at home and you don't have a web browser. And a bunch of these tools must work online. So you probably recognise a few of these names, things like Hotmail and a few other things. And as I go through the rest of this presentation, I'll explain what all these different tools are and also how they work. So how can you use some of these tools? So the first one I'm going to talk about is how you can collaborate using these tools. So the first one is we provide a free website called Windows Live Groups, and this is designed to be just a very simple group-based website. It takes you about maybe 5 or 10 seconds to actually set this website up. The website is a place where your members can go to paste photos, so upload photos, upload Office documents, any of the 4 types of Office documents that I mentioned before, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and OneNote. And it also gives the group an email address. So anyone that posts to that email address, basically all of the members of that group will actually get that email. And I'll show you this shortly. So the next one down is another free tool called Windows Live SkyDrive. And you could basically think of this as 25 gigabytes of personal online free storage that you can use. So wherever you are on the web or wherever you can get to an internet connection, you've basically got 25 gigabytes of free storage. And so if you think about it, 25 gigabytes, that's thousands of photos, that's tens of thousands of documents. It's a really great way to actually store those documents that you need to access when you're overseas or when you're going home, or if you just want to share some documents with some colleagues or with some friends. You can do all this through the Windows Live SkyDrive. So this is where this next tool called the Office Web Apps come in, and I'll show you this in a second. When I upload or make available a Word, PowerPoint, Excel or OneNote file to the members of my group, they actually have the capability to view and actually edit these documents using the Office Web Apps. And I'll show you this in a second, but this looks very, very familiar to your users. If your users are used to using Office on their PCs, it's very, very easy for them to use these same web apps just anywhere they've got a web browser. So like I said, this works on a Windows PC, this will work on a Macintosh PC, this will work on a Linux PC as well. Anywhere I've got a web browser, I can use these web app tools. So let's kind of drill into a little bit more detail. So one of the first things you need to do is you or the people that are signing up for the service have to actually sign themselves up for a Windows Live ID. Okay, and the easiest place that you go to get this is to the website called windowslive.com. And if you already have a Hotmail address, or if you already use Messenger today, you'll actually already have yourself a Windows Live ID. But if you don't have one, you basically go to this Windows Live ID website, you click on the sign up button, and it asks you about 10 questions. It should take you a few minutes to fill out. And then you've basically got a Windows Live ID. And that Live ID you basically use to sign on to all of the other services that I'm going to be talking about for through the rest of my presentation here. Okay, so this is the ID you use to sign in to that free storage, to the Messenger, and also to Hotmail. The other The other download that you should be aware of, and the other URL that you might want to write down, is this one called www.download.live.com. Okay, and what this is, so that was www.download.live.com. This is a free set of installers that actually installs a whole bunch of different free Windows Live applications on your PC. Okay, so this is the rest of the presentation when I'm talking about tools like the Windows Live Photo Gallery or Windows Live Movie Maker. This is basically the one place that you go to download all of these. So when I go to that website and click on the Download Now button, it will basically install all of the tools that I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the presentation. So these are tools that actually install onto my PC, so that I don't need to have an internet connection when I'm using them. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and we'll keep going. So that's how you sign up for a Windows Live ID, and that's how you download that Windows Live Essentials 2011 software that I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is how you can create yourself a Windows Live group for doing online collaboration. Okay, and so the place that you go to do this is a website called groups.live.com. Okay. Okay, and so that's it takes me to a special place on the Windows Live website where I can go in and I can view the existing groups that I've already got, or I can create a new group, which I'll just do here. So you see, basically, I give it a name. It automatically gets an email address. I can then go in and I can put in the email addresses of the people that I want to invite to this group. So just to be clear, this is a members only invite area. So you can you can put material up here that you don't want other people to see, and it's basically password protected. But what I'm going to do is, rather than set another one up, I'll just show you one of the existing ones that I've already created. But you can see it's a pretty easy, a couple of minute process to actually set that up. Okay, so this is basically what my group's website looks like. We make it really easy for you to upload photos, and I'll come back and show you how I've actually uploaded those photos a little bit later. These are some of the web application documents that I was working on. So, for instance, if I go and click on and open one of these, it actually opens a copy of the Office OneNote web application so that I could actually work on this document. And one of the cool things about this is that you can have people working on this document in real time. So I've literally got document co-authoring, or multiple people working on the same document at the same time. So that's just one of the little things that the Office OneNote web applications let you do. Those of you that are finance people or into Excel, maybe some of you have been in a situation where on the 31st of March at the end of a financial year, you're trying to open an Excel document and it comes up with a little dialog box saying the accountant's already got this open. Do you want to be notified when they've got this closed? This is one of the benefits of using a web application, is that you can actually have multiple people editing the same document at the same time. Okay. So and you can see there that I've been working on a bunch of other documents through my group, and it's basically just a nice, easy, central place where all of my documents live, that any of the members of the group can come and look at. If I've given them permissions, they can edit these documents. Otherwise they can just view them. If they do have permission, they can actually click on this edit in browser, and that will actually let them edit the document using the Excel web application. Yes, that's right. So back in here, I must have closed it down, but the short answer is yes. And
Would it be as intuitive as, say, Outlook or MS Office?
so it's very very intuitive. It has the same look and feel, so it has the same ribbon view, which is context sensitive. So as you're doing different things, the menu actually changes. So for instance, if I go in and insert a photo into my document, all of the user interface at the top of Office will change to show me the tools that relate to photos, for instance. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the web applications in a second. So any other questions before we go on?
What happens if people are co-authoring something at the same time? I mean, how does that actually choose what's changed?
Yep. So the question is, what happens when two people try to save a document at the same time? The co-authoring through the web only works with Excel and with OneNote. So we do support it with Word and with PowerPoint, but you have to be using SharePoint server inside your own company. But so to answer your question, if you are using Excel and two people write to exactly the same field, so two people write to cell C3 at the same time, the last write wins. So if you're in a situation where you don't want that to happen, you've basically got control over how that happens. And if you were the accountant, you would lock the worksheet, or you would lock a certain set of fields, so that doesn't happen. But by default, it's set up so that two people can work on the same thing at the same time. But it is the last write wins. We do keep a track of who's changed what, so you can actually go back in time. So it keeps a snapshot. But when you're talking about versioning and document history and stuff like that, that's really where some of the non-free tools like SharePoint really come into their own, because they're really designed a lot more around that business scenario. Yeah. Okay.
It's different to sharing a file in Excel.
From the user point of view, it works in the same way. Just some of the features are a little bit different. When you're using Excel and you're using it against SharePoint, you've basically got more enterprise and more document management features. Okay. So I've basically talked about that. You get 25 gigs of storage. It's a great simple place to discuss ideas, work on documents. People can make comments about documents. They all get saved there. And basically, wherever I've got an internet connection, I can work on those documents in real time. The other thing I forgot to say is that this also ties into Windows Live Messenger, which is the instant messaging product. And with that, if you can have up to 40 people in your group, and you can basically be chatting. One person can send a chat, and it will go out to all 40 people at the same time. So you might be, working on a document or something like that, and you're wanting to use Instant Messenger to share those around. Okay, so the next tool I'm going to talk about is this thing called the Windows Live SkyDrive. And what this is the 25 gigs of storage. You access this through the URL skydrive.live.com. So anybody can get this. Like I said, it is 25 gigabytes of storage, which is quite a lot. So that is what the interface to the SkyDrive looks like. So you can see I can come in, I can create folders. This is there was someone that asked about how do I actually create a new document. So this is the place where I'd go in and actually and start a new Word document from fresh. To the lady down the back, this is how I'd create a new Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or OneNote folder. Okay, so just straight there from there. I can actually add files. So if I've already created some Word files that I want to share with people, I can go into to add into here and basically just drag and drop them into this folder, and it will make them available. And when I'm in here, I can also password protect this. So, maybe I only want to have, a few of my trusted friends to be able to get into a particular folder. So I can go and create a folder, and I can basically lock that down using so I can basically choose who I want to have that available to. We make it really, really simple to get documents up onto here. You don't need to kind of, go into here and try and browse and find the documents. You literally can just drag and drop them out of your Windows PC and just directly onto the website, and you'll see it just automatically uploads all those documents in the background. Now each of those documents is basically on the web. I could go in, I can edit those. You see I can now edit in the browser. So this makes it really easy for you to share files with people that that don't have a copy of Office, or you want to use some of the rich features inside Office, but not everyone's got a copy, or not everyone wants to install a copy at home, for instance. This is a pretty easy way, to get a lot of the Office features, but through the web.
Are you restricted to the Microsoft file format? So if I wanted to share, I don't know, some other file.
Yep.
That,
PDF's probably not such a great example because PDF's not really a read-write format, but if you had a non-Microsoft document file format, Photoshop file, this is basically centered around Office 2010. Okay, so you basically have to save the file as an OpenXML file. Now you can install the file converters into everything as back as Office 2000. So even if you've got a version of Office that's sitting around from 10 years ago, you can install the free file converters. You go into Word or Excel, you do a file save, you save it as an OpenXML file format, and then you can just natively share into the web. And I think it really starts to light up, especially when you think about some of those co-authoring scenarios, Word and Excel and things like that. How you can have two people working on the same thing at the same time. So the long story short, no. You do need to convert the files, and you can convert the files for free.
So, but I was talking like maybe not co-authoring, but actually just sharing. Like,
Yep.
I need to give you a copy of that file, and it's
Yep.
5 gigs, so I don't want to email it.
Yep. So totally. So I'm inside my SkyDrive, and will you just give me a warning when I've got like about 10 minutes to go? Okay. So if it was just any old file, a PDF or a PSD file or whatever it was that you said, I could just drag it into here. That file would now have a unique URL. And so, sure, if it's a Photoshop file, they're not going to be able to view it through the web browser, but basically it would be there on the web. They'd be able to download it, download it to their PCs. So yeah, if you're looking for a simple way to share files around, you could definitely do that with SkyDrive. Yeah.
Any limits on the site?
We don't allow files that are bigger than 50 megabytes. So you've got 25 gigs of storage. Each file's got to be less than 50 megs. It's very easy to download a zipping tool that'll create you multiple zips at 50 megs each. And I'll show you one other way you can get around that as well shortly. But by default, 50 megs. Okay. So I've kind of mentioned this Office the Office files a few times. This is I just want to show you how I actually kind of, use this on a day-to-day basis. And okay, so I just wanted to just drill into a little bit more detail about these web apps and just show you one little demo around them. And just like I've shown you in the groups and available through SkyDrive, I can basically go in and click edit in the browser. And I just wanted to show you what it's actually like to have two people working on the same document at the same time. So what I've got here is I've got an Excel spreadsheet, but it's not just a normal kind of boring Excel spreadsheet. It's a little kind of macro that I've set up that I use to do demos, and I've actually got this set up using battleships, because battleships is a little bit more exciting than than macros. But so behind the scenes, though, you'll see that this is it's a fully fledged Excel document. You see that I've got, the ribbon, the same look and feel of Excel, but I haven't got Excel installed, right? All I've got is a web browser, and I could be using a Windows machine, I could be using a Macintosh machine, I could be a Linux machine, doesn't matter. As long as I've got a web browser that supports HTML or a modern version of HTML, I'm basically good to go. So you'll see here, this is the kind of interface that allows us to have multiple people working on the same document at the same time. So I can go in here and I can say click on editing. Now I am actually the same. I'm actually the same person. What you'll see here is on the right, I'm just going to go in and just fire a few ones, which is me firing a few shots around. And what you should see within a few seconds is this actually transitions from my browser up onto the website, up into the cloud, and within another few seconds, you should see that those same shots actually get come down and get automatically updated in this other browser over here. It's worked every other time I've done this demo. Let me just switch to another field and come back. Oh. Okay, so you saw that. Do you want me to just do one more so that's working? So pretty simple little demo, but just shows you how this thing does the round tripping and how it handles people working on the same document at the same time. And this it is actually very high quality software. We've actually been building these for about 3 or 4 years. I sometimes actually just present natively through the website and without even using PowerPoint. I sometimes just turn up with a web browser, go to my PowerPoint site on the web and do it like that. So what I want to spend the rest of this presentation is talking about some of the tools that you can download onto your PC. So these are the Windows Live Essentials tools that I mentioned before that you can download. And there's a whole bunch of really free, cool little tools that you can use. One of the first ones that I want to draw your attention to is this blogging engine, or a thing called the Windows Live Writer. Now, I think you guys have got a session on blogging and social media and stuff this afternoon. One of the things that I've been blogging for about 5 years, and one of the things that I see as a big barrier to people getting into blogging is that it looks different, or they're not kind of used to the tools. So one of the things that we provide as part of Windows Live is this blog writing tool that basically lets you write blogs just as easy as if you were sitting inside Word, writing text. And what I mean by that is, you've got bullets and formatting and numbering, and we make it really easy to insert pictures and videos and things like that. And so this is basically a little engine where you can come in, you can write your blog. I love this one because sometimes it takes me a few days to write a blog, and I can basically go in here and I can upload a draft to my blogging engine so that I can be working on this for a few days, and then I can come back and work on it when I'm ready. One of the other little cool things about this particular tool is that it also ties in with Twitter. So you can actually insert an ad into this, so as soon as you do a blog post, it also sends that blog post over into Facebook and also sends a tweet from your account to tell all your constituents or all your followers that you've just done a blog post. So that's the Windows Live writer.
Sorry.
Yep.
Really dumb question.
Yep. Go for it. There's no questions that are dumb. So.
Where does the blog get displayed?
Yep. Yep. So the quick question is, where does the blog get displayed? Yep. So we don't actually provide a blogging engine. It's up to you. It's up to you to actually get yourself a blog. You can create one through the Live Writer program. It's actually not hosted by Microsoft. So it's basically just it's a blog account. You'd normally host it on top of your existing web presence. So you'd work with your existing internet provider or your existing service provider that does your web presence. That's probably the best thing to do. You can sign up for a free one as part of this, but it's really more for personal kind of blogs. Yeah. So I just want to show you one more tool very quickly. This is called Windows Live Movie Maker. This is designed to be just a really simple tool that allows you to stitch together some photos and some videos and to publish them up onto the web. One of the things about all of these Windows Live tools is these are not just about Microsoft. We work with all of the different leading websites, so Flickr, YouTube, Facebook. So I can come in here, I can select some photos that I wanted to make a video of. I can add some music. We've got a whole bunch of these little auto movie themes. And you'll see that within a couple of seconds I can make myself a little movie that looks reasonably professional with fade in and fade out and nice use of photos and stuff like that. Very, very simply. And then within a few more seconds I can click the YouTube button and I can basically be uploading that onto YouTube. Now I'm not on the internet properly here because of the Microsoft network, but basically, this would just upload onto YouTube. So very, very simple to create yourself videos. Don't be too scared about doing that. And the very last, I've only got a few minutes left. The very last tool I want to just spend a couple of minutes showing you. This is another free tool that we call the Windows Live Photo Gallery. And this photo gallery, this has only been out about a month's time now, and there's a whole bunch of new little cool things that this photo gallery does. And to just give you an example, we make it really easy to stitch different digital media photos together. So here's a little photo from up on top of Mount Victoria. What I can do is I can select all those Mount Victoria and Wellington. I can select those photos. I can go into Create. I can go to Panorama. And you'll see within a couple of seconds it basically analyzes those 5 different photos that I've got. We'll work out how they relate together. It's faster when I tried it last night. Okay, So pretty simple to create yourself a little photo like that. There's just one other couple of little other cool things this does is this particular program also analyzes pictures, does facial recognition. So as you import more and more people and import them off your camera, it actually recognizes who those people are and will start to tag them. So you can quickly go through and find out where are all the photos of Fred the dog or whatever it is. And again, we make it really easy for you to actually share these photos with any of the popular websites that are around today: Facebook, SkyDrive, YouTube, Flickr, Windows Live. So look, I think I'm out of time. So that was a bit of a whistle-stop tour through the different Windows Live tools. The two URLs you want to remember are windowslive.com to sign up for a Windows Live ID, and download.live.com, which allows you to download all of those tools to your PC. So the blogging tool, the photo gallery tool, the movie maker tool, they're all available for free from that URL there.